Can I apply Turf Trust and Gallery at the same time? Am I able to use Wilt Proof with other weed killers? And how can I use Kickstart on my indoor plants? Folks, I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well, folks, we are continuing to get a lot of emails from you, which we absolutely love. But I will say that the content of those emails has been changing a little bit. We're starting to get more questions about how to feed your grass in the late fall. Is it still okay to apply certain products? And we've started to get questions about how to maintain healthy plants over the winter, especially those indoor plants, what to feed them, etc. So we actually selected 5 questions for today's program. So buckle up everybody, let's jump right in. The first question is from Richard. Tim, can I apply Turf Trust fertilizer right after I apply Gallery, or do I have to wait a certain amount of time? So one of the great things about Turf Trust branded products is that there's no need to wait in terms of when to apply them. So you can go ahead and put down the Turf Trust fertilizers the same day that you put down Gallery. You can also put them down the same day that you put down Dimension. And I'll be quite frank with you, I always put these products down at the same time simply because I'm already out there working in my yard and it just makes sense to do so. There is no negative interaction in terms of how it will impact your grass, so it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and put Turf Trust down right now. The next question is from John. Tim, can I feed my lawn every 2 months rather than every 3 months without harming my lawn? So as long as you're using Turf Trust fertilizers, then yes, you can do this, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure why you would want to. Turf Trust fertilizers last up to 13 weeks. That's how long that they will feed your grass in terms of the duration. And again, it's effective for up to 13 weeks. So doing it earlier, putting it down every 2 months, we'll say 8 weeks, isn't going to hurt your lawn as long as you're applying it at the proper rate. But what it is going to do is just waste product, because there's only so much nitrogen, so much nutrition that your grass can intake. So what it's not able to take in, it's just going to be wasted. So again, can you put down Turf Trust every 2 months? As long as it's put down at the proper rate, yes, your lawn will be totally fine. But again, all that's happening is you're actually over applying the product, and even though it's not going to harm your grass, you're wasting product. So I wouldn't advise doing that, but again, it's your lawn. I cannot speak to any other fertilizers and how that may impact your lawn, but I know with Turf Trust, because it is a slow release fertilizer, you'll be okay going every 2 months instead of every 3 months. The third question is from Jimmy. Hi Tim. Can we add Wilt Proof to other weed killers like Tenacity, Turflawn Ester, and Ormec 170? Will it improve the efficacy of the main weed killer? And do you have any guidelines for the mixing ratio? So the quick answer to your question is yes, you can add Wilt Proof to a number of different weed killers, and it will actually help those weed killers stick to the weeds and in essence make them more effective in terms of how quickly they will kill the weed. Now, that doesn't mean you should always do that, and here's why. Folks, there are a number of weed killers out there that offer both pre and post weed control, meaning that yes, it will kill what you have, but it also offers some type of pre-emergent protection. And when it comes to concentrates, that's usually a couple of weeks, maybe up to a month. The reason that we add Wilt Proof when it comes to using Image is because we're talking about trying to really effectively kill weeds while not allowing that chemical to get down to the soil surface, because if it does, it's going to actually kill the grass seed that we are trying to put down. So that's really the driving force behind it. Now, let's say that you just want to go ahead and use Image in the springtime or in the summer to kill weeds. Yes, you can absolutely use it with or without the Wilt Proof. The Wilt Proof will help it stick a little bit better to the weeds and, in essence, make it a more potent weed killer. But again, not all weed killers are the same, and some do offer pre-emergent control. And when I mean that, you actually are going to want that chemical to actually get down to the soil surface, because again, it's going to kill anything that's just starting to grow. It may help prevent weeds from germinating, things like that. So again, just kind of understanding which product you're trying to apply is going to help you determine whether or not you should use Wilt Proof. Now, if you're only using a product because of the post-emergent properties, which means you're already seeing the weeds, then if that's all you care about, then yeah, go ahead and add Wilt Proof. Again, we always recommend that you use a gallon pump sprayer. So go ahead and mix that weed concentrate in a gallon of water. We recommend around an ounce, maybe 2 ounces, depending on the chemical of that Wilt Proof into that 1 gallon mixture. Shake it up, mix it up real well, and then just go ahead and start spraying. It is going to make it more effective because it does force that weed killer to stick to the weeds. But again, depending on the product that you want, you may want some of those pre-emergent properties that are out there on the market. And so applying Wilt Proof in that scenario may not be your best option. The fourth question for today is from Jackie. Dear Tim, always used C-Mate for my houseplants. On a previous broadcast, you informed viewers how to make a Kickstart formula to replace the C-Mate product you no longer stock. I would appreciate getting those directions for making a C-Mate substitute. So C-Mate and Kickstart are the exact same product, and it did not make any sense for us to carry both, which is why we were in favor of just keeping Kickstart, because those sales were much, much higher. So that's really the history lesson in terms of why we dropped C-Mate. It's the same thing as Kickstart. So if you prefer C-Mate, that's totally fine. We just don't sell it anymore. Now, in terms of Kickstart and how to feed your indoor plants, it's really, really easy. This is what I do. The first thing I'll do is take an old gallon milk jug. Obviously the milk is going to be empty. I have children, so they'll drink it up, and that's not an issue at all. Then what you want to do is just wash it out and fill it back up with water. Then take that Kickstart concentrate. So if you remember the Kickstart bottle, it looks empty, but it's not. You go ahead and add water to the fill line of that bottle, shake it up, which essentially makes that concentrate of Kickstart. You want to take 1 ounce of that mixture and add it to the gallon of water that I just spoke about. Shake it up, and that gallon of water is now what you want to use on your indoor plants in terms of feeding them. What we recommend is, take a tablespoon or 2 of that mixture and apply it to all of your indoor plants once a week. It's going to strengthen their roots, so to give them a little bit of nutrition, and it's obviously going to keep those house plants on a good path in terms of staying healthy, staying disease-free, and again, obviously, they're going to stay beautiful as well. The last question for today is from Rick. Hello, Tim. I just had a large oak removed due to advanced leaf scorch and considerable branch die-off this summer. The root was drilled out and the sawdust/chips removed to about 6 or 7 inches and then filled in with topsoil and seeded yesterday. The area is about 7 feet in diameter. Any further recommendations for now and the spring to address the possibility of nitrogen depletion and die-off? So in order to avoid the scenario of a nitrogen depleted area, you have to actually add nitrogen to it. In addition, to avoid the die-off, you have to make sure that the new grass coming in is able to absorb the nitrogen that you're putting in. So we would actually recommend 2 products to solve this issue. The first would be just turf truss fertilizers. Get down turf truss. It is a very potent fertilizer when it comes to the amount of nitrogen that it's going to put into the soil, and that's exactly what you need. So head over to rosensonline.com and pick up some turf truss. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you put down Kickstart. Kickstart enhances the root systems in grass. And so again, when you're talking about new grass, you want that root system to get established very quickly and to start taking in the nutrition, the specific nutrition that turf truss is putting into the soil. So again, head over to Rosens, pick up your turf truss, pick up your Kickstart. Getting both of those products down is really going to help establish that grass and keep it healthy, and you should very effectively be able to avoid the nitrogen depletion and the die-off. All right, folks, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this video podcast. Folks, we still have the Turf Trust Fall Feeding Frenzy going on over at rosensonline.com. Now, folks, we are only going to run this for another week or two. Again, we're in late October, and there is a fourth feeding of Turf Trust that we highly recommend in mid-November. So if you have not purchased the product that you need for that fourth feeding, head over to rosensonline.com right now and take advantage of the savings that the Fall Feeding Frenzy provides. Again, this can be any 3-bag combination of the Turf Trust Maintenance or the Turf Trust Starter. It can be the 5M or the 10M in terms of the sizes. So again, we're only going to run this promotion for another week or two, so make sure you get over to rosensonline.com and order now. All of the Feeding Frenzy is going to have the free shipping automatically applied, so you're saving on the product, you're saving on the shipping. It's just simply a great time to buy. Folks, while you're over at Rosens Online, make sure you're also picking up some gallery. If you haven't overseeded, you should be getting down gallery right now. If you did overseed in that, say, late August, mid-September timeframe, you can absolutely put down gallery when you do your fourth feeding of Turf Trust fertilizers. So again, over at rosensonline.com, pick up gallery, get it down when you apply your fourth feeding. Finally, we had a question about it earlier today, but Kickstart, you can still use it as long as your outdoor plants are actively growing, but a lot of those plants have started to go dormant, and we're starting to see a lot of emails about indoor plants, and Kickstart is a great way to feed them. So again, you can buy it by the bottle, you can buy it by the case, but it's a really effective product for keeping those plants healthy indoors, whether they are outdoor plants that you're bringing in because of the cold weather, or it's just always an indoor plant. Kickstart is the product that you want to use. Folks, as always, we love all of the emails that you send our way. So if you do have a question, please send it directly to me. Tim@rosensonline.com is my email. If I receive it, I promise that I'll respond. Give me a couple of days to get back to you. But again, your questions are very, very important to us. So please, Tim@rosensonline.com. Folks, thank you so much for all of the time that you spent with us, not only today, but over this past year, over this past couple of years. It really, really does mean a lot to us. We appreciate it. This business does not exist without you. So thank you very, very much. I hope all of you have an amazing rest of the week. God bless.